Hi guys, this is Tarot with Gaia Tarot 13, and this is an annual overview for 2018. Now I'm going to give you a heads up because all sorts of things have been happening. As you can see, it is nighttime outside. When I started recording this, it was very much not. I have had to record this. This would be the third time, and both prior times the video was pushing like an hour. So a little salty right now. Gonna try and not be salty, but I am gonna give you a heads up that I'm going to stop this every couple of months because I don't know if like the video's not saving because it's big or something. I've never had a problem with that before, but that doesn't really mean anything. So I'm gonna do a couple months and I'm gonna stop and then I'm gonna come back in and record it on a new video. So if that's the issue, and I can just paste it all together. So if that's the issue, I don't have to do it a fourth time because I'm trying not to do this a fourth time. Okay, so that's first thing. Second thing, because of that, because I've recorded, all of the cards are already pulled and laid out here in front of me, so you don't get to see me doing that. Third, I'm probably going to talk really fast and go through this because I'm a little bit frustrated that I've spent literally all day doing this now. Also, we'll start with the heads up that I've said on the prior two videos. When I'm recording, I usually, before I start recording, I shuffle my deck, and I shuffle it like this. And so I do that off camera before I start recording so you don't get like the that it makes when I'm shuffling. And then when I start recording, I do it like just like this to get the cards that stick out to me, and I pull those, okay? As I was doing that the very first time, before I originally pulled them, they kept like going everywhere and falling apart. And so the message there, and the reason that I've repeated it a couple times and I'm saying it again to you now, because it's a really big deal. Sometimes it's not, and that's fine, but this time it was really feeling like the message is that things are going to be breaking apart, coming apart, kind of being a mess. And that is evidenced to me further by the fact that I've had to do this 3 times. So that's kind of how things are going to be in 2018. They're going to be coming apart, getting broken down, getting exposed. We see that a little bit now, at least here in North America, with all of the stuff going on with celebrities, things and people and behaviors being exposed. We see women coming into power, being more vocal with the Me Too. Lots of things being exposed and broken down, whether it's societally or politically, and I see that continuing. Things are just going to be breaking apart in 2018. What we're used to is going to be breaking apart, which I think is great. Some people might not, but I think that's super great. So that was the very first message I got as I was shuffling. And then as I pulled the cards, things are really going to be roller coasty. We go in with stress and we come out with stress. That's kind of how this year is going to go. But everything's going to be lessons as we go through. So, having said all that, let me back myself up. 12 cards in the annuals, and we've got one for all of the 12 months here pulled in a circle, kind of a squish circle. I'd say more like triangle at this point. And then a 13th card right in the middle, and that is like the overview for the year. So, diving right in, since I'm going to do just a couple months and then stop. So, diving right in, we'll start with January with the Magician reversed. And this card is reading to me as self-doubt. You're going to come into this year feeling like you are feeling overwhelmed, like you can't handle something, you don't know how to do it, you don't know what you got yourself into, but it's really all just self-doubt because the magician is the creator. The magician is the one who has all of the knowledge and skills and tools and know-how and power, and he can create what he wants. So, I mean, you have that. You are the magician. You have it. But when it's reversed, it's like you don't know you have it, or you doubt that you have it, or you don't You don't believe you have it. And so you're going to be coming into this year like, I don't know what I'm doing. How did I think that I was prepared for this? Whatever it is. This is general, and these are month cards, so it can fall in any area of your life. I've past couple videos I've been using work as an example, so I'm probably going to stay with work as an example. But it could fall anywhere. You're going to come into this year feeling like you're in over your head, but you're not. In February, we have the Nine of Cups reversed. And this is like realizing that something you wanted, you've got it, but it's just a little bit different than you thought it was going to be. So again, an example of work is you get that job, you get that promotion, you get that thing that you wanted, and you thought you were signing on for this, and you end up getting this. And it's okay. I mean, you're kind of like, I mean, it's not a deal breaker, let me put it that way. You're kind of like, oh, well, I thought I was having to do A, B, and C, but I need to do A, B, C, and D, or A, B, and D instead. So it's just a little bit different from what you thought you were getting, but you're kind of okay with it. I mean, it's not too big of a deal because you're still getting what you want. You're still getting that promotion. It's just the tasks are a little bit different. You're still getting that promotion, but the pay is a little bit different. There's just a little that's off, but you're good with it because you're happy to be in that place. You're happy to have got the thing you want, and the little change, the little difference doesn't outweigh the benefit of getting the thing that you want. So, month 3 in March, we have the Sun reversed. And this is you lightening your load. You're getting used to that difference. Sticking with the example being work, again, it doesn't have to be work. This could be, so we've got January, you take on a new job and you're like, I didn't think that I could do this. What's wrong with me? Why did I think that I could handle this? February, like, oh, yeah, okay. I mean, I can do this, and I thought I was getting X, but I'm getting X plus, and that's fine. And then March, you've hit your groove. You've kind of started to do it already, and you're getting used to doing X plus. And because of that, either because of hitting your stride or because you've gotten used to it and more comfortable with it, you are freeing up your time. Whether that's by doing it more expeditiously, by being more comfortable and allowing yourself to delegate some of the tasks, whatever it is, you've gotten used to that thing that was a little bit off in February. And because you're used to it, you find yourself having some free time. Either that or, I mean, maybe the work just lightens. Maybe things were busy at the beginning of the year and now it's a couple months into the year and the work's just a little bit lighter now. But either way, you're going to find yourself in April having a little bit of free time, and you're happy about that free time, you're enjoying that free time, and you should absolutely take the time to relax and have at it. You're finding yourself with extra time. And what you want to do with that time is this. You can't see it. It is the Devil upright. So in April, you're going to want to indulge. The Devil is about like those things that we want that really aren't good for us. So like, you know, the fun stuff in life like smoking and drinking and promiscuity, or that fourth dessert. That's my problem. So that's that stuff that we can have, but we have to have in moderation. You can't just like go all in on it, right? And that's what the Devil warns about. So you can absolutely reward yourself for the free time you have in March, getting in your groove and getting your stride and having that free time. You get to indulge in April. You can indulge in April. Just be aware of how much you're indulging. Be aware of what you're indulging in. Don't do things in excess and don't do unhealthy things, right? Don't self-harm with free time. So then we have, actually, before we hop into that, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to come right back. As I said, editing purposes, we'll put it back in. I just want to make sure I don't lose my video again. We'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, so we were talking about indulgence. Don't overindulge in March. Then we come to April, and we have the Eight of Swords upright. And I've got two things going on with this card. This, first, as it relates to April, is kind of like you want to stay in that place. You're having a lot of fun in April, and in May, you don't really want that fun to end. You don't want to just have it limited. You don't want to come back to reality. So whatever you're indulging on, maybe you took a vacation in April, and you're in May, and you're like, I really wish that I was still wherever I was. I really don't want to have to come back to work and face reality and face all these responsibilities. So it's that kind of like not wanting to get out of where you were. I mean, that could be physically as far as vacation. It could be like mentally or emotionally as far as wanting to continue to have those indulgences. You want to continue to play. You want to continue to do that stuff that you were doing in April. And in May, you don't want it to be over. That's how it's reading to me first. But there's another layer to this as well. She is bound. Her wrists are chained together, and that's like hands tied. My hands are tied. So you're really, like, the other way this is reading is that you really could be feeling like your hands are tied, like really, like you're stuck somewhere. You could be feeling very stuck, and that's gonna play back in to these first couple months with sticking with the job example. So you have a new job and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling like, what did I get myself into, and I can't figure it out. But then you start to kind of figure it out, or you realize that it's what you signed up for is just a little bit different. But this month could tie back into them where you're like, all right, I know that I agreed to have this position, or I wanted to have this promotion, or I wanted this job, but I really did sign up for X. And while in February I thought X Plus was okay, I really feel stuck doing X Plus. That's not what I want to be doing. I feel stuck. I feel like my hands are tied. I feel like I'm trapped. Now, again, whether that's a fleeting emotion or whether that's something that you need to actually do something about is up to you. Only you know your situation. Only you know which way you need to go with that. But you could find yourself in May really feeling like your hands are tied, like you are stuck somewhere, like you want to get out of something, but you don't know how, or you don't feel like you can. You don't feel like you can get out of it. So, I mean, that's really just a heads up. I don't have any advice on that other than do what you feel you need to do. Is it a deal breaker? Is it not a deal breaker? So then we come into June. And in June, we have the High Priestess reversed. And this card is about, I know I'm kind of far away from the camera, but if you want to, you can Google these cards. This card is about people pushing agendas. And it could be that this card reads both ways, both as an agenda being pushed on you or you being the pusher. So I'm going to talk about both of those. So sticking with employment, this is like you going to your boss with an idea where you say, here's how we can make things more efficient, streamline our employment, save the company money, make things work faster. Here's this great idea on how we can better our job for everyone involved. But he shoots you down. Okay? Well, perhaps the employer knows that, or your boss or whomever you take that to, knows that your idea is great, and they love your idea and they want to accept your idea, but they know that, okay, well, if we do that, it is going to be effective and efficient and all those things, we're going to have to lay off 3 people. And I would rather have an inefficient office by however much it's going to be inefficient and keep those 3 employees, because my priority is those people. My priority is their loyalty. My priority is whatever else. And so because of that, he shoots your idea down. So that's, in this example, that's your boss putting his agenda on you. You are being not negatively affected, not adversely affected, but affected by someone else furthering their own agenda. And that's a really good example of how someone pushing their agenda is not a negative thing. Because by doing what the boss did in that scenario, what he's doing is he's keeping 3 people employed. Because he cares more about the people than he does about making money or than he does about whatever else. So pushing the agenda on someone else doesn't have to be bad. So now we're going to flip that around, and we're going to use an example where it is kind of bad and where you're being the pusher. Because if you find that you are the one trying to push your agenda on someone else, you need to do some thinking about that. Do some eval and check that out. Okay, so similar scenario. You go to your employer with this idea of how to streamline things because you've got a coworker who gets on your nerves. And you know that not only is this going to save money, but I know he's going to have to cut 3 people. And I know that Susie is the one who's going to get cut, which is great because I don't like Susie. So win-win for me, right? Not only am I trying to get the employer to see me as an asset and see me as benefit to the company by here's this great idea about how to save everyone money and how to make the business better. See, I care about the business, but I also get Susie out of here. So you're being the one who's pushing your agenda on someone else under a little guise of, look, I'm such a great employee, when really what you want to do is you want to get Susie out. Like, that's your goal, is to get Susie out. Looking like a great employee is just like the kind of scam way you figured out how to do it. So be aware that there may be some agenda, some biases, some manipulation, some underlying things going on here in June. And if you're the one trying to push agendas and manipulate other people, again, take a look at why. Usually that's not good. You don't want to manipulate other people. You don't want to push your agendas on other people. More often than not, it's negative. I know I gave a good example. More often than not, it's negative. So keep an eye out on that. Okay, then there's this big divide here in July because it's kind of like the energy shifts a little bit. So before I get into that, I'm going to stop again. We'll come right back. Be right back. Okay, July. So the energy shifts, and we have kind of a different take come the second half of this year. We start July, or I guess we start the second half of the year with July, and we have the star card reversed. July is going to be a little bit frustrating, but good. This card is reading as you've got a path in front of you, but you don't see it. The path is not illuminated. You can't see it. You're being blocked. You're being blocked with a boulder in front of you. You can't move forward. You need to just stop and sit in it, and you need to trust. You need to trust that there's a path despite whether or not you can see it. You need to trust that everything is going exactly how it's supposed to go despite the fact that you can't see it. There are things going on behind the scenes that you don't know about. Again, so I said there's that boulder in front of you, right? There's people behind you. There are people behind you who are working behind the scenes on your behalf to try and help you, to try and move you forward. But as I said, it's going to be a little frustrating, and that's because you can't do anything about it. You don't know that those people are back there working on your behalf. All you can do is see this boulder in front of you. All you do is see that there's this giant boulder in front of you and you have no idea where to go or what to do. You see no path, you just see a boulder. So what you need to do in July is be patient and trust the universe and have faith. And sometimes it's going to be blind faith, which is why I said it's going to be super frustrating, because that can be very, very hard to do. To know that everything's okay, that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, that the path will open up exactly when it's supposed to open up in the manner in which it is supposed to open up. And until then, all you need to do is sit and wait. That's July. Trust, wait, patience, have faith. August. Here's why. Ace of Pentacles, reversed. This card is about new opportunities and growth and prosperity and things coming in. So your reward for trusting is all this new good stuff coming in. All those people who were working behind the scenes are now pushing you forward. That boulder that was in front of you moves out of the way, and those people shove you forward. So there's the path, and here's a shove. Growth, new opportunities, reward for your patience and for your faith. September, we have the moon reversed. This is information being revealed. This is an illumination. So in July, as we had the blocks and the boulders and the patience, August, we had the boulder removed. We had the shove from behind from our helpers. In September, we're having the light of the moon light that path. That moon is lit up in front of you. So now not only do you not see the boulder, but you see all the way to where the next thing is. And you can now see behind you who was helping you out. There are reasons that people can help you behind the scenes or want to help you behind the scenes but don't want to tell you that they're helping you for any number of reasons. And this is you now finding out who was helping you, how they were helping you maybe, why they were helping you. This is you getting information about those people behind you and seeing that path in front of you. Now, as we walk along our path, I kind of, what was the metaphor I used? I kind of used it as like little stops along the way, right? And I mean, really what they are is like intermediate goals, right? So you have an end goal, like your major end goal, your life goal, right? Like the big prize at the end. Although, probably after that, whatever you think that is, there's probably, once you get there, there's going to be another little goal. So, I mean, as you walk down your path, I like to just think of it as like little rest areas, okay? A little stop. So, you want to get into that college and get that degree. You want to get that job. You want these things in life. And you're walking along the path, like identifying that thing that you want is acknowledging the path. You're walking along the path, and then the little stop is the place that you get to. It is the obtaining that degree. Okay, now I'm standing on that little rest area. Or it's getting that job. Okay, now I'm standing on this little rest area, right? Until you identify the next thing. Okay, I've got this. Now what am I going to do with it? I've got this job. Now what? I've got this degree. Now where am I going to get a job? What am I going to do with it? So each one of those little like life accomplishments are one of those little rest areas, a little intermediate goal. It's a little rest area along your path, right? So as you're walking down your path, you see a rest area, you get to that rest area, and you can identify what you want to do now. All of that was to try and say that as we have the moon reversed, illuminate that path. You can see now to that rest area. Before you were kind of blocked with that boulder, and then it was removed, but now you can see all the way to that rest stop for you, that next goal. You can see exactly the path on how to get to that goal, which is a perfect segue into October. October is the Seven of Wands upright. October is getting to that goal, whatever that goal is. And again, it doesn't have to be something big like a job or a degree. Now, if you're nearing the end of school, the degree might make sense. If you are applying for school, the acceptance would be it. But these can be smaller intermediate goals too, because one of those big life things, right? Like you go to college for several years, like very clearly you're not going to get there between July and October, right? Like you're not going to get done in between July and October. So these are big broad examples, but narrow it down to how it plays out in your life, right? So October is getting to that rest stop, whatever that rest stop is for you. You have come into your power. You have come to your position of power. You've got that thing that you were shooting for. Whatever it was that you were waiting for in July, that sense of the need for patience, whatever the boulder was blocking you from doing, that's all been removed, and you've just flown ahead, and you're now standing there in your position of power with that thing that you want. Now, I do have to point out that you need to be grateful that you are here. You need to be grateful to whatever removed that boulder. You need to be grateful to those people who were behind you, working behind the scenes to help you, and who shoved you forward. Because while this guy is in an advantageous position, there are other guys down there on the bottom with wands who are waiting to dethrone him. Not at the first opportunity, but they're there. So I like to think of this as, think about having a promotion that you and however many other people wanted, and you were the one to get it. And now that you have it, you're kind of snubbing your nose at it. You're like, oh, well, maybe I don't want it, or maybe I whatever, or you're just complaining about it. Maybe it's harder than you thought it was going to be, or whatever. This is those other coworkers, like, well, if she don't want it, I'll take it. I mean, you gave it to her, but she clearly doesn't seem like she wants it, so I'll take it. That's what that is. So while you have what you want, you've got that thing that you've worked towards, you need to be appreciative of it. You need to not take it for granted. You need to appreciate the people that helped you get there, because other people will take it away from you if they can. Okay, stop there. I'm going to come back for the fourth installment here in a half a second. Okay, last installment. Can I just interject here and say, like, I'm super happy that cutting it out into like 10-minute increments is working, because so far it seems to be saving successfully on my computer, knock on wood, but I'm super excited about that because I didn't really want to have to do it a whole nother time. So thanks for tolerating me doing it this way. Okay, so we left out on October on the Seven of Wands. Now we go into November. November and December need to be their own little segment because they're a whole different thought. They're a whole different vibe. November, we have the Hangman upright. This card is talking about being on the fence, needing to make a decision, and not making a decision yet. And that's okay. This ties back in to that October card. We're talking about you're in your position of power. So with that comes additional responsibility. And with that, you have decisions that need to be made. And you're not real sure what to do. It could tie back into that self-doubt from January. You don't know what to do. So you're on the fence. You're taking the time to make a decision, to see how to proceed. And you know what? Take as long as you need. Don't let people rush you. If people try to tell you that a decision needs to be made now, tell them no. It's okay to say no. You're not going to make one. Because not that, if you make a rush decision, you're going to make the wrong decision. I'm not saying that. Generally, that's kind of what happens. Not that you make the wrong decision, but that you make a rushed decision and you may not have all the information, or a million things could go wrong when you're pressured into doing something. This card is saying you need to take the time to figure out what you want to do, how you want to proceed, which way you want to go, and you have that time to take. Don't let anyone try to take your power away by saying you don't have that time to take. You take as long as you need, and the bigger the decision it is, the longer you take. That's my advice. That's what we've got here in November. There's a big thing that needs to happen, and you take as long as you need to make it happen. December. And these two go hand in hand. This is the Nine of Swords upright. You are freaking out. That's what I've got from here. And the card doesn't always read this way. It always reads with like stress and anxiety, but it doesn't always read with such drama. And every time I've come to this card, and the 3 times I have recorded this video, it ties into November, and it makes me feel like this. Which is why I say you're freaking out. Because it's not just stress. I'd love to be able to tell you, it's December, it's the holidays, everyone's stressed out, it's holiday stress, don't worry about it, it's nothing. No, it's like, it's making me feel panicked, and it has to do with the decision you have to make in November. Not that you have to make in November, the decision that is presented to you in November. I'm super hopeful that this decision in November is presented to you in the later half of November, because I feel like the earlier in November this is presented to you, the worse December is going to feel. Like, you're going to feel more panicky on this Nine of Swords card if this thing happens in November. And it's simply because it's not going to be a bigger deal if it's presented to you in the beginning of the month than in the end of the month. It's not a weightier decision to be made. It's nothing like that. It's simply the amount of time you spend in your own head. It's the amount of time you spend obsessing about this thing. Really what this is if it comes to you in November, the beginning of November, to make this decision, and you spend all of November thinking about it, weighing pros and cons and seeing what you want to do and trying to figure out the best thing to do. We're at 30 days now, right? And then you spend all of December thinking about it, weighing the pros and cons. By the end of December, yeah, you're going to be freaking out. Because you've got that in your head, because you've been in your head for 60 days now. And who, in obsessing on something for 60 days, is not going to be a basket case, right? So my hope for you is that whatever this thing is, it either comes to you in the end of November or later in November, so you don't have so much time to think about it, or you can actively take yourself to step back, take yourself out of the situation, and breathe, because that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen in December. This Nine of Swords card doesn't have to occur. You can lighten how severe it is. Let me put it that way. You're going to be feeling that. You're going to be feeling that, and there's nothing that I can do to make you not feel that. There's nothing, I wish I could tell you that you can take that away, that you can change that, that you can change the layout of the cards, and to some extent you can. You can change their effect. We do all have self-control, we do all have free will, so, I mean, this isn't just how life is going to be, period. This is how life is going to be. Like, that's not how it is. But to a certain extent, you're going to be feeling this stress and anxiety. But you get to determine how much you let it affect you. My biggest suggestion for December is to stop and enjoy the holidays, enjoy the season, enjoy all of that stuff that December entails, and know that you have all the time in the world you need to make this November decision. Whenever it comes to you, whether it's in the beginning or the end, remember that you have time, because that's going to help relieve the stress. When it starts to creep in and you start to feel panicked and you start to feel like you have to do something, you have to take action, you have to make a decision, you have to do something now, remember that you don't. Your hands are tied. There's nothing you can do to rush this. You have no need to rush this. Just wait. You'll know the right thing to do at the right time. And to be perfectly honest, a decision isn't going to be made until after the first of the year. You've got it presented to you in November. You've got a lot of other stuff going on in December. Not only like stress-wise, not only holidays, but it may be that you can't even make a decision. And that might be freaking you out because you know that you have these things you need to figure out what to do. You need to, you have this decision that needs to be made, and you're doing your cost benefit analysis, and you're doing your pro and con, and you're doing all those things, do your due diligence about, okay, what's the best decision to be made here? But then, the boss is on a month vacation in China the whole month of December, and you can't tell him what your decision is anyway. Something like that, where it doesn't benefit you to stress out ever in general, but you're stressing out over nothing. You can't do anything about it. You're causing yourself stress. The decision isn't going to be made until after the first of the year, so don't worry about it. Enjoy the holidays. Don't freak yourself out. Don't worry about it. Those are the 12 months. Now we've got the overview card, and the overview card is the Five of Cups reversed. The Five of Cups, when upright, talks about grieving and loss and feeling like there's nothing left, there's nothing worth it, It's reversed. So when it's reversed, it's kind of like the more optimistic side of that. It is that all is not lost. There is still hope. We can still recover from this. Whatever this thing is, we can fix it. That's what this card is. And that's a really good overview for this year. Because to summarize again, just real quick, what we've got for these 12 months is feeling overwhelmed, feeling self-doubt, like you can't handle this, like you are in over your head. And then like, oh, maybe I'm not in over my head. I thought I was getting into this, and it's just this, just a little bit different. All right, I got that. And now I'm into that groove where I've been doing it, and I've got it, and I know what I'm doing, and I've got some time now. And so I'm going to spend that time having some fun. And I'm going to have fun for as long as I can. I'm not ready to stop having fun. Well, maybe there are some other things going on that I need to be aware of. Maybe I need to get out of this mentality, get out of this mindset of trying to just enjoy life a little bit more than maybe I should be, and keep my eyes open for people trying to take advantage of that. Again, we hit July, we go into a whole different area. Now it's like, I'm stuck, I'm feeling stuck. No, trust, breathe, trust. Things are happening behind me that I'm not aware of. All I see is this boulder, but I trust. I have faith. And I'm glad I did, because here's the reward for it. And I'm informed of who was helping me. And I find out what's ahead of me. Not only do I find out what's ahead of me, but I actually get to the place that I want to be. Oh, but where I want to be comes with some stuff that I didn't know I needed to deal with, and I don't really know how to deal with it. What's the right way to deal with it? What's the best way to deal with it? Wait, what's the best way to deal with it? What's the best way to... How do I deal with this? Can I deal with this? How do I deal with this? But you can recover from it. And it's okay. And there's still hope. You just need to breathe through it, learn the lessons, don't psych yourself out. Everything's going to be okay. That's what this year is about. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing to my YouTube page. If you want to get a personal reading with me, the only way to do so is through my website, which is GaiaTarot13.com. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr, where I pull a card every day, reading the energy of that specific day. Make sure to check out the weekly videos, which are going to help clear up a whole bunch of this stuff, give you a lot more detail on that. Again, thanks so much for putting up with the edited version of this and how I had to do it in 4 different sections. It made my life so much easier than having to do it 5, 6, 7 times. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.